October always feels like the warm-up to the real reset. The days get shorter, the air gets cooler, and suddenly we're in this season where routines matter more than ever. November is the month where you either drift through the end of the year or you lock in, reset, and set yourself up to finish strong. In today's video, I'm sharing my full November reset, from habits to routines to the seasonal changes I'm making, so you can feel refreshed, grounded, and ready for the month ahead. So before we dig into November, I think it's always a good idea to kind of hit pause, reflect on the month that was October, what worked, what didn't work, and kind of reflect on that before we jump feet first into a new month. For me, one of my biggest wins for October was taking charge of my health. I went to the doctor, I got blood work done, I met with a dietitian. I checked a bunch of boxes off in terms of really taking charge and taking care of my health, which I am super proud that I actually did that this month. It's very, very easy to get caught up in your physique and how your body looks. And it's easy to just kind of put health and longevity on the back burner in favor of aesthetics. I flipped that. I decided I was going to take care of my internal health for future Katrina, who I know will greatly appreciate that. So that was a big win for the month of October for me. And on the flip side of that, of course, there are things that probably didn't go as planned or things that we didn't follow through on during the month. I don't want you to beat yourself up for that, but just acknowledge it, again, reflect on it, and consider how you might be able to do better in the month ahead. So I encourage you to ask yourself 2 questions. What am I proud of from October? And what am I leaving behind as we go into November? For our reset, I want us to start with health and wellness. So as I said, I did really just start to take charge of my health in the month of October, and I want that to continue. I started 75 hard in, I think it was early August, and I quit it towards the end of September because it was absolutely tanking my health. I want to develop a sustainable plan, which I've already started doing here in October, but I really want to nail it down. And I guess even that, it's like those kind of words, I'm like, you need to tone it down a bit. I've gone too hard for too long. Going back to a previous video about needing to kind of enter my soft girl era, I still want to be consistent. I still want to build muscle, but I just need to be a bit more easy on myself, not take everything so dang hard, be so dang rigid. Just find something that is reasonable, in line with my health goals, and something that I can be consistent with. And it doesn't have to be complicated, right? It goes back to eating wholesome foods, mostly whole foods, trying to minimize processed foods, staying hydrated, getting enough sleep is a big one for me. Getting movement in, but at the same time, not too much movement. Getting outside while we still can, while it's still a bit nice out. Simple things. And I encourage you as well, if part of your reset involves some sort of health fitness category, reasonability and just giving yourself a bit of grace. We don't need to go with 75 hard intensity. And in fact, I don't think we should go with 75 hard intensity, just something that works for you. And hopefully that's in line with longevity and long-term health. Next, I want to talk about routines, and I'll start with my morning routine. Right now, my mornings are very structured, and I think that's fine, especially for someone who is required to be at the office at a certain time, 5 days a week. But I do want to implement a bit more ease and calm into my days. I still want to have a good breakfast. I still want to work out, but I want to try and also implement things like either meditation or prayer, maybe a bit of journaling, maybe some reading, just to kind of like set the tone for the day, that I don't need to be like go, 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 go the entire day, because that's kind of how it feels right now. It's like I'm from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. It's like I can't breathe. I can't just chill out for a second, and I would really, really like to have that as part of my morning routine and kind of nail that down now, this time of year when it's not busy at work, because once March and April are here and it's tax season and it's very busy at the office, it's going to be very hard to develop those routines. So I'm hoping if here in November, December, I can like really get that routine figured out where like, okay, in the mornings I do journal. If it's already a habit, then hopefully it can carry me through to the busier seasons of life as well. And then on the evening routine side of things, and I was talking to my dietitian about this yesterday. She asked me how much sleep I'm getting, and I said I could use more. And she asked me like what my evening routine is like, and I did not sugarcoat it. I was like, I scroll Instagram. And she's like, you need to cut that out because it totally messes with your body and makes it more difficult to fall asleep. So as kind of a goal for resetting for November, I want to read more before bed. And I've already started putting things in place to make that happen. Previously, I have not had a lamp or anything on my bedside table. The lamp is on my husband's side of the bed. And so because I don't have a light, I just don't read because I can't see. Simple things like putting a lamp on my bedside table will allow me to read more. And I think I just need to, I feel like I'm very much all or nothing when it comes to Instagram. I either allow myself to go on it and I end up going on it more than I want, or I say, no, we're not going on at all. And I'm like, okay, that barrier has been put up and I'm not gonna go on Instagram. So I wish I could have a happy medium, but I feel like at this point, it's like, there's no such thing with Instagram for you, unfortunately. So as part of my reset, I want to read more. I have a list of to be read books that continues to get longer and longer by the day. So I'm hoping I can read more, get through the list. Lots of the books that I read are more in the self-help, personal development realm. So hopefully just make some improvements in that core category, as well as part of sorting through my evening routine. So my challenge to you would be to kind of look at your morning and evening routines and ask yourself if there's something that you can either add or remove from each of those routines this month to kind of refresh things and get you moving closer to the goals that you have set for yourself. I also like to kind of reset my space, my environment at the start of every month, just get everything clean and fresh just to start the month off on a fresh note. It has been very, very dry here in Alberta for a good chunk of the summer, which means we live out in the country, we live on a gravel road. My house has become very dusty, so as part of my reset, I do want to just kind of dust my house, because we have a fairly big ranch house. There's definitely places in this house that I have not dusted in a while. And of course, just the usual stuff of vacuuming, laundry, wiping down surfaces, all that good stuff, just to get the place feeling clean and fresh for a brand new month, where I feel like when I have a clean house, it does something to my mind where it just like releases something, just feels like a clean slate. We can start off the month fresh. I love that feeling. And of course, my reset also includes a grocery haul. So typically once a week, I do make just like a big grocery haul. But for a reset, I also just kind of want to go through my pantry, go through my fridge. Is there any the stuff that we just use on a day-to-day, like do I need to stock up on spices or things like rice or bone broth or more things that I use on a day-to-day basis. Is there anything that I need to stockpile on? And of course, is there anything expired that I should be throwing out? So just kind of doing a huge inventory of what I have in my kitchen. And once I've done that, I also like to do my meal prep, get a bunch of meals prepped and put in the freezer so they are good to go for the month or the week ahead. When you're doing your monthly reset, don't just think about cleaning your space. Also think about how your environment can support your health and routines for the month ahead. I've decided that I'm going to set an intention or a word for the month of November, and that word is going to be focus. I feel like most of 2025, I'm not going to lie, I feel like I've been very scattered, and as a result of that, I feel like I know I haven't achieved as much as I would have liked or as much as I would have hoped for at the start of this year. And so I'm hoping by setting an intention of focus, I can dial in a bit more the last 2 months of the year and get some things checked off my goal list before we hit 2026. I would encourage you as well to kind of think, what do you want for November? What do you want your focus to be? Ironically, my focus is to be focused. It could be different for everyone, right? Like you might want to kind of slow down and just take time before the craziness of the holiday season. Or you might be on the flip side, you really want to lock in, go hard, and get a bunch done before the distractions of holiday season. So really take some time and consider what you want November to represent for you. And then once you've decided on that, I know for myself, I'm going to write the word focus on a Post-it. I might make it on a few Post-its actually. I'm probably going to put it on my desk at work, maybe in my truck because I'm in my truck a few times a day, maybe on my bathroom mirror, just to keep it top of mind throughout the month and just to ensure that it doesn't become this thing that I just talk about here and then never think about again, right? We want this top of mind. It's going to be the focus of the month and carry us through to, again, help us to achieve the goals that we had set. I feel like November is kind of this like last chance to like really get things done before the chaos of December and the holidays. Like obviously you can still get things done in December, but I just feel like there's so much in terms of like holiday parties and family get-togethers and just chaos that like November for sure is like, let's get some things done before you can potentially get derailed. That's why I think November is the perfect time to pick like 1 or 2 goals and really put the blinders on and just focus on those 1 or 2 goals. That is what I am doing for the remainder of the year. I took a look at my list of goals for 2025 and I said, okay, if there was 1 or 2 that I really wish I could achieve before the end of the year, what are those? And I did happen to pick 2, and I have set my sights on those are the 2 that I'm really going to push towards in the last 2 months of 2025. My train of thought with this is that if I focus on just 1 or 2 things, I can really dial it in and push forward and more likely achieve them, or at the very least make a lot of progress on those goals, which will allow me to end the year feeling at least, possibly a bit more accomplished than I otherwise would be if I was still trying to achieve all the goals that I set at the beginning of the year, which, to be fair, I definitely set too many goals at the start of the year. And that's probably why I felt scattered, right? It's just not enough focus on a select few things. And so I was just like going in a million directions. It just doesn't work. So we're setting our sights on 1 or 2 goals and really aiming to put all of our time and energy into those for the end of the year. If you are reflecting on what kind of goals you want to achieve by the end of the year, I would get you to ask yourself, what's the 1 or 2 things that would make you feel proud if you accomplished it by the end of November? And that's my November reset. It doesn't need to be this elaborate, complicated thing where you completely reinvent your life. And in fact, I think that's the wrong approach. It's just little shifts that you can make in the right direction of where you want to be going, setting your sights on some key things and pushing through with those. I'd love to hear from you. What is your reset looking like for November? What are some goals that you're hoping to achieve by the end of the year? I would love to hear from you, so be sure to put those in the comments. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed already, please be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next week. Happy November. Bye.